South Africa, a land of breathtaking vistas. Towering mountains pierce the sky, vast plains stretch as far as the eye can see. The raw beauty is undeniable, yet a darkness lurks beneath the surface. A darkness that explodes with frightening regularity. Violence, a tragic symphony played out in the streets and homes of this troubled nation. It was against this backdrop of stunning beauty and haunting brutality that the life of Inge Lotz was brutally cut short. On March 16, 2005, the promise of her future was extinguished in her own apartment. The weapon? A blunt object that stole her life and left a nation grappling with the horror of an unsolved murder. Inge's death sent shockwaves through the quiet suburb of Stellenbosch. The idyllic college town, known for its world-renowned university and vineyards, was now a crime scene. Fear gripped the community as the question echoed, who could have committed such a heinous act? The murder of Inge Lotz serves as a chilling reminder of the fragility of life. It highlights the duality of South Africa, a country where beauty and brutality coexist in an uneasy dance. And as we delve into the labyrinthine details of this case, we are reminded that some wounds, like the unsolved murder of Inge Lotz, never truly heal. Inge Lotz, a name synonymous with promise and potential. At 22, she embodied the dreams of a generation. A bright student on the cusp of a promising career. Her infectious laughter and zest for life brightened the lives of those fortunate enough to know her. Inge excelled in her studies, pursuing a master's degree in mathematical statistics at Stellenbosch University. Her sharp intellect and unwavering determination set her apart. She dreamed of a future filled with intellectual pursuits and meaningful contributions to the world. Beyond her academic achievements, Inge possessed a vibrant spirit. She cherished moments with friends, her laughter echoing through the hallways of her apartment complex. She found solace in music, her apartment often filled with the melodies of her favorite bands, and she shared a close bond with her family, who provided unwavering love and support. But fate, it seemed, had a cruel twist in store. On that fateful day in March, Inge's life was tragically cut short. Her dreams, aspirations, and the music that filled her life were silenced forever. The world was robbed of a bright mind and a beautiful soul, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. Fred van der Vyver, Inge's boyfriend, became a central figure in the unfolding drama. A young actuary, Fred cut a handsome and successful figure. He and Inge had been dating for several years, their relationship a tapestry of shared dreams and budding romance. Outwardly, they appeared to be a loving couple. Yet, beneath the surface, cracks had begun to appear in their relationship. Friends and family noticed a growing distance between them. Arguments, once infrequent, became more common. The reasons behind their strained relationship remained shrouded in speculation. Some whispered of infidelity, suggesting that Fred's affections may have strayed. Others pointed to the pressures of their respective careers, the demands of their studies creating a wedge between them. Whatever the cause, the once solid foundation of their relationship had begun to crumble. And in the wake of Inge's murder, Fred van der Vyver found himself thrust into the harsh glare of the spotlight, his every move scrutinized as suspicion swirled around him. The day dawned like any other in Stellenbosch. Students hurried to lectures, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafted from cafes. But for Inge Lotz, this day would be tragically different. It would be her last. The details of Inge's final hours remain shrouded in mystery. Investigators believe she spent the morning working on her thesis, her computer humming softly in the background. Lunchtime came and went, but there was no sign of Inge leaving her apartment. As the afternoon shadows lengthened, a sense of unease began to creep in. Inge's boyfriend Fred became concerned when he couldn't reach her by phone. He contacted her friends, but no one had seen or heard from her. Growing increasingly worried, Fred rushed to Inge's apartment. Using a spare set of keys, he entered the apartment, his heart pounding in his chest. What he found inside would forever be seared into his memory. The scene that greeted Fred van der Vyver was nothing short of horrific. Inge lay sprawled on the living room floor, her lifeless eyes staring blankly at the ceiling. Blood stained the carpet a gruesome crimson, a stark contrast to the vibrant life that had been so brutally extinguished. Panic surged through Fred. He fumbled for his phone, his hands trembling as he dialed the emergency services. The operator's calm voice on the other end belied the chaos unfolding in Inge's apartment. Within minutes, Sirens wailed in the distance, their piercing cries announcing the arrival of the police. The once peaceful complex was transformed into a hive of activity as investigators swarmed the scene. Every footstep, every word uttered, was now potential evidence in the hunt for Inge's killer. The investigation into Inge Lotz's murder had begun, but as the police delved deeper into the case, they encountered more questions than answers. The apartment, though bearing signs of a struggle, yielded few clues. The murder weapon was missing, and the motive remained a chilling mystery. As the investigation progressed, a web of circumstantial evidence began to ensnare Fred van der Vyver. His alibi for the afternoon of Inge's murder was shaky at best. Witnesses placed him in the vicinity of her apartment complex around the time of her death. Adding to the suspicion, investigators discovered a series of emails between Fred and Inge that hinted at trouble in their relationship. The tone of the messages was often heated, with accusations and recriminations flying back and forth. Forensic experts, meanwhile, were meticulously combing through Inge's apartment for any trace of the killer. Their efforts yielded a crucial piece of evidence: a bloody fingerprint found on a glass in the kitchen sink. The fingerprint, however, did not belong to Inge. The discovery sent a collective gasp through the investigation team. Could this be the breakthrough they had been waiting for? The fingerprint, they hoped, would lead them straight to Inge's killer. The trial of Fred van der Vyver for the murder of Inge Lotz was one of the most highly publicized in South African history. The media frenzy surrounding the case was relentless, with every twist and turn scrutinized and debated. The prosecution presented a compelling case, arguing that Fred had both the motive and the opportunity to kill Inge. They pointed to the couple's strained relationship, the incriminating emails, and the fact that he was the last known person to see her alive. The defense, however, mounted a vigorous counter-argument. They challenged the prosecution's timeline, suggesting that Fred could not have committed the murder in the time frame presented. They also cast doubt on the reliability of the fingerprint evidence, arguing that it could have been planted. The trial became a battle of experts, with both sides presenting their own interpretations of the evidence. The courtroom was filled with tension as the jury listened intently, their faces betraying the weight of their responsibility. After weeks of testimony and deliberation, the jury reached a verdict: not guilty. Fred van der Vyver, the man who had been at the center of the storm, was a free man. The courtroom erupted in gasps of disbelief and murmurs of both relief and outrage. The verdict, however, did little to quell the controversy surrounding the case. For many, the question of Inge Lotz's murder remained unanswered. If Fred van der Vyver was not responsible for her death, then who was? The prosecution, despite their best efforts, had failed to convince the jury beyond a reasonable doubt. The evidence, while suggestive, was ultimately circumstantial. And in the absence of a smoking gun, the jury was left to grapple with the possibility that the real killer was still out there. Fred van der Vyver walked out of the courtroom a free man, but the shadow of suspicion continued to follow him. He had been acquitted in the eyes of the law, but for some, he would forever be linked to the unsolved murder of Inge Lotz. While the legal battle may have concluded, the emotional toll of Inge's murder continues to reverberate through the lives of those who loved her most. Her family, once a beacon of warmth and laughter, now grapples with the unbearable pain of her absence. Inge's parents, Juanita and Jan Lotz, have endured the unimaginable heartache of losing a child in such a brutal and senseless manner. Their grief is a constant companion, a heavy cloak that they carry with them every day. The years since Inge's death have been a blur of anniversaries, birthdays celebrated in her memory, and the constant ache of what could have been. They visit her grave regularly, seeking solace in the quiet serenity of the cemetery. The Lotz family has shown incredible strength and resilience in the face of unimaginable tragedy. They have channeled their grief into honoring Inge's memory, establishing a foundation in her name to support education and keep her spirit alive. But the pain of their loss remains, a constant reminder of the precious life that was stolen too soon. The unsolved murder of Inge Lotz stands as a chilling reminder of the limits of justice and the enduring power of mystery. It is a case that has captivated and confounded South Africa, leaving an indelible mark on the national psyche. Over the years, there have been numerous attempts to breathe new life into the investigation. New leads have emerged, only to fade away like whispers in the wind. Forensic techniques have advanced, offering the tantalizing possibility of uncovering fresh evidence. But Inge's killer remains elusive, their identity shrouded in a veil of unanswered questions. The case serves as a stark illustration of the devastating impact of unsolved murders. For families and friends left behind, the lack of closure is a wound that never fully heals. The inability to bring the perpetrator to justice compounds their grief, leaving them trapped in a perpetual state of limbo. Inge's case, like so many other unsolved murders, is a poignant reminder that justice is not always served. It underscores the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing every moment. And it leaves us to ponder the dark side of human nature, where evil can lurk in the shadows, waiting to strike when we least expect it.